And welcome, Rooster Boosters. Wow, look at that, Rob. Went into the
Come on,
wrong
man.
show. Rooster
Be a
Boosters is
pro.
my Tuesday show. If you're a Rooney fan, follow us at Rugby United fan supporters group
Ooh.
You're
in
wearing the wrong
Facebook.
hat.
That was my plug. Yeah, listen, I run the fan club, Bryce. Come on. And welcome, Rugby Rant fans. I'm the big guy, Scott Farrar. That's Rob the Hammerschmidt. And if our buddy Ty Braga was available today, I'm sure he wanted to screw up that intro as badly as I did. But it's Monday night, and you guys know what that means. It's time for a nice run, pass, or kick interview. Oh, I gotta love it. So,
Yeah.
if you see him on our
Scott,
screen.
Scott,
Yep.
big guy, we've been working on this one for a couple months, and we were supposed to have Bryce on during the season, and then he ran into a bit of a bad luck in that game with a concussion. So I'm thrilled to have Bryce on finally. It's been an interview I've been looking forward to.
So, well, since Rob Hammerschmidt took it from me, Bryce, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on, guys. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So let me go through a little bit of your CV since Rob kind of blew up my intro. Collegiate All-American at Indiana University, Rugby Sevens, All-American, Glendale Raptors, London Irish, currently on the AGs, obviously USA Eagle, number 497, first cap against Romania, and Bryce Campbell is on the show, everybody. So let's talk about one of our sponsors, though, because obviously I'm having trouble remembering the intro. And canibrands.com can actually set me straight. You know, the Can I Refresh is something that gets me, to the place I need to be to actually stay up as late as I need to get these done efficiently, timely, do a good edit, hopefully not screw up the intro next week, things like that, or screw up the intro to the Rugby Rant on Thursdays. But I use the spray, and Rob has seen it before. They come in droplets or sprays, and just 7 or 8 sprays in the mouth, 3 or 4 minutes. I get a nice, refreshing
Kick.
state, a kick. It gets me where I need to be, like I said, midday or midnight, as we're here on the East Coast. And between that and the Can I Boost in the morning, it gives you a little bit of caffeine. Of course, all their products are 0% THC. If it's not addictive, it's not going to get you, high or anything like that, but it does help you move forward a little bit in your day, piece by piece. The Can I Mend, which is something the little hammer our buddy Preston might want to put on his injury from the LU match against Marion, splitting his fingers wide open there, scoring his second try. Good job, Preston. Anyway, go to canibrands.com and use the code RANT25 to get 25% off your entire order. Again, use the code RANT25 at canibrands.com. Any orders over $49, free shipping in the continental United States. And again, this is a product that I've purchased with my own money because I believe in it and it works and we love it. So go to canibrands.com, use the code RANT25. Rob, tell the new viewers, if they don't know what the RPK is, how it works.
Well, the RPK, Run, Pass, or Kick, is a unique interview style that we brought to the podcast, and basically works a little like this. We're going to pose questions to Bryce, and we're going to give him 3 choices, just like any good member of the back line. He's going to have 3 choices in front of him. He can run with the ball, which we know Bryce likes to do a lot of. He can go ahead and pass the ball, or he can go ahead and say that he wants to kick it, and that's his chance to put us on the defensive, make us work a little bit. And have a little fun with us. And we have to basically answer in his stead. And he can grade us out, tell us we were shite, tell us we were golden, or follow up with some details. But either way, it gives him a chance to put pressure on us. So, Bryce Campbell, are you ready, Captain America, for the Run, Pass, or Kick Challenge?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Awesome. Well, I got the first one. Shout out to my girl at work, Veronica, because she was talking about something and it made me formulate this question. So, Bryce, run, pass, or kick. You're going to a Halloween party with an Eagles teammate, and you guys are doing a buddy costume. Which teammate are you going with, and what is the costume?
This is a good one. I should just run with. Yeah, I'll run with it. Got quite a few teammates to choose from here. First one off the head would probably have to be Will McGee. We're close friends, teammates here in Austin. We were teammates back in Glendale back in the day, and been around each other a lot. What would we be? Got to get one that you're together so they, they fit. I think we.
It's a stumper, Rob. It's a stumper.
We probably, me, Will, and Dylan Fawcett had an old nickname for ourselves called the Deathly Hallows. Um, and when Butch was at hooker and Will at 10 and I'm at 12, so I'd go with the Harry Potter theme and uh, yeah, be the what are the ghost things called?
Oh God.
The Dementor.
Dementors. Yeah, the Dementors.
Mentors, yeah.
Yeah, be a couple of those things.
That's
There you go.
awesome, man. That's great. First of all, I love Dylan. I would have said Bryson, Dylan, Mario, and Luigi because Dylan always has the facial hair, so all he has to do is cut off the goatee. And you're kind of getting that 5 o'clock shadow deal, so you almost got a mustache there.
Yeah. That's not a bad shout either.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, folks, Halloween's coming up, and obviously everybody, you know, I know at the Chicago Blaze where I play, they loved having the Halloween party. So go out there and celebrate, be the Deathly Hallows, or maybe just be a cow, you know, in the great state of Texas. You know, they like to eat steak and stuff down there. But we're going to move on to the next question, not talk about Texas yet. We're going to talk about someplace near and dear to Bryce's heart. That would be Indianapolis and the state of Indiana. Indianapolis and the state of Indiana itself, for those who don't know or aren't from the Midwest, is a quiet hotbed for high school rugby. Bryce, run, pass, or kick, when coming out of Cathedral High School, did you have intentions of making rugby a profession?
I'll run with that one. Should be pretty easy to answer. Did I have intentions to make rugby a profession? Yes. Did I think it was, you know, likely or very possible? Not really. Yeah, I went down to Indiana University to join my brother, who's 2 years older than me. The program, you know, it had, you know, ups and downs in its history, but was kind of turning a corner and starting to really compete, at least definitely in the Big Ten. And then later on we did on the national stage. But I just loved the game and wanted to go down there and join with him and play a couple more years with him. I was lucky enough to play on a high school All-American team while I was at Cathedral, so I knew I was one of the kids in the higher ranks. Didn't really know how or where I was going to try to become professional, but it just kind of happened along the way. Yeah, I've had some great coaching at IU. Sarasopa Inari, and he's from Samoa, but has lived a lot of his life in New Zealand. So the kind of plan was he was going to hook me up with a club in New Zealand, and I was going to go down there and work after I graduated. And then things kind of just took off, and that never happened because I kicked on with the Eagles while I was at IU, and then joined with Glendale after I graduated, and things kind of took off from there.
Yeah, it's for those of you that don't follow collegiate rugby, you know, Big Ten rugby is very competitive. I mean, I know you guys hear the Cows, the London Woods, the Lives, but you know, Big Ten rugby is rough and tumble. You know, we mentioned you played at Indiana, and particularly you were on a team that played Cal in the quarterfinals. You know, Indiana's a very competitive program. Working to get back towards the top tier of collegiate programs. So run, pass, or kick. In order for rugby to grow, does it need to work towards becoming recognized by the NCAA?
You know what? This is a perfect one for me to kick.
Well, Rob knows I have an opinion on this, and while I am a big NCAA detractor for most things, I do feel like letting NCAA take over collegiate rugby gets the egos out of it right now, because then it's under one roof. And how good or bad that is, because we know what the NCAA is now, you know, whatever. But the way we have it now, where it's so partitioned out, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't, you know, people can't even follow it. Luckily, guys like Goff put out his own rankings because, you know, it's really hard to follow between Nescro and all that stuff. So, you know, I do think eventually you want to be the best and you want to become competitive and you want to be that top tier program, you have to go with the NCAA. So,
Robert, you gonna add your 2 cents there, or is that it?
Well, I would agree. I think it's like collegiate rugby is like the Wild West right now. Everybody wants to, you know, to have their own piece of the pie, and nobody's willing to share with anybody else. And you know, I agree with Scott in the sense that at least NCAA would put everybody under one roof with one set of rules, with one set of standards. and it would make it a little easier for fans of rugby to follow. And I think that's particularly important when you talk about the draft. How do we find out more about kids that are coming out of college unless we can do a better job at identifying who these young, talented men and women are coming out of college and playing at high-level programs. So,
I mean, the one thing you want to say too, Rob, is the one thing NCAA is good at is putting out independent player profiles. You know what I mean? When you hear the Heisman candidates, NCAA is pushing those people. When they have the top, I think University of Michigan had, 4 top picks in the first 5 picks in this year's NHL draft, and you heard about their names because the NCAA pushed them, and they could do the same thing for rugby.
Right. How do we do, Bryce?
Good. I would agree with everything you guys have said. It being under NCAA would really put the sport on the next level. It would even the playing field for a lot of the schools as well. And with Title IX, you can just bring in the men and women, and hopefully that's not too much of an issue.
Heck yeah.
But do I think it has to go that way? No. I think we can, continue to really push D1A and the way things are now, and just from individual schools to put their best foot forwards, and clubs to really lean on their alumni and push it forward. But because I don't think the NCAA is extremely short term. So schools, individual clubs need to put their hands up and try to make it as best they possibly can. And we'll make the draft as good as we can. But end goal, NCAA would be the best thing for collegiate rugby.
Yeah. Hey, Bryce, by the way, speaking of college rugby, you and I have somebody in common. While you were at IU, you were coached by a friend of the Rugby Rant, David Fee, right? So run, pass, or kick. How important was it to have a coach that had been there and done that on a USA rugby scene?
I'll run with that one. So my time at IU with Dave Fee was pretty brief. He coached a lot of our sevens my senior year. Sorry, just senior year. He coached my senior year, and I was away with the Eagles for most of it. But I don't know if you guys remember, but we did pretty darn good in that CRCs, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to play with the team. I was getting ready to play against Ireland on the weekend in New York, but he brought so much confidence to the guys, and credibility down to our program, and showed the guys that they can compete with these teams and beat these teams that on paper have a bit more support than we would. So yeah, I think it was incredibly important to have that in our corner.
I think it's funny that he got out of hanging out with Fee by saying, "Oh, I got selected for the Eagles. See ya, I'm in New York."
Yeah. But also, that collegiate the high school All-American Sevens team. So, what was it? 4 or 5 years earlier, he was one of our coaches. So I had known him already.
We like to bust Fee's chops. I was making fun of him during the Premier Rugby Sevens the entire time. It was fun. We have a ton of fun with him, and he's a recurring guest, so we love to have him on. So the next question, run, pass, or kick. Your USA teammate and center partner Marcel Brocchi will be united. You guys will be united in Austin during the 2022 season. Run, pass, or kick. How much of an advantage is it to having a backline pairing that has kind of already had a connection between you guys going into the new MLR season?
I'll run with this one. I don't know if we could have found a better signing than Marcel over this offseason. Not only what he brings on the field, but anyone that's met him, he's probably the best guy you can have in the changing rooms. His experience, his leadership, just his work ethic is top notch, and he's going to bring a lot of firepower for us on the field, but he'll also bring a lot of experience and leadership to our team. Having played with him is fantastic. He communicates so well. He's so dynamic. He understands the game a heck of a lot better than I do, to be honest. But if he's in the centers with me, the best thing about Marcel is he can play in center,
So
wing, fullback. You can stick him in a lot of places, and he looks right at home. So I just can't wait for him to get down here to Austin. He'll probably get down here next month. We'll start going.
that's awesome. So, I mean, for fans out there, we assume now you're back in Austin and you're living down there, and you're settled in, getting ready to maybe get some R and getting ready and geared up for training camp in a month. You said, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Got back. Was it Sunday evening? Yeah, at least my fiance and I live down here year round. She works down here in Austin, which makes it really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just R&R, get some time away from rugby, just look after the body, and then be back in probably around end of November, start of December.
Cool, cool, awesome. I'm sure fans down there in Austin love to hear that. You guys be ready to rock and roll. I know there's a lot of fans that are chomping at the bit to get another MLR season. I know you're probably, as Cam Dolan said, you guys are probably like, I get to use a couple weeks off. The body's been going at a pretty high temperature for a while now. So speaking of the AGs and their previous iterations, the Elite, the Herd, whatever they were called, they were 4-30-1 from 2018 to 2020. Yet you guys went 10-6 in 2021. Run, pass, or kick, would you consider this turnaround and the AG's 2021 season a success?
I'll run. I'll run again. We run. Um, Absolutely, I think it was a success for the program, for the organization. To have a winning record was definitely a success. Did we accomplish our goals that we set out at the beginning of the season? No. I believe we had a team that we could have won the finals with, and everyone in our group, we expected that, and we fought till we couldn't fight anymore for that to happen. Um, and I think now that's the expectation for this next season: make the playoffs and win the championship. And I think that's what Austin deserves, and I think we have the group to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to use the playoff structure that we expect to see in 2022, we'd have three teams in the playoffs, and anything can happen once you get to that point, right? I mean, you can battle it out with between second and third. It would have been Utah, and you guys certainly had the ability to put them on ice and put up a good showing against and battle it out with LA. So it's going to be real nice to see you guys in the mix. You certainly they're putting a team on the pitch that's going to be super competitive and look to get to those finals matches in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was Rob, I wouldn't have put in 2020 in that, because I don't think that counts for anybody's MLR season with the way it went. But so the next question is kind of almost a part two to that. Run, pass, or kick. To what would you attribute this turnaround in 2021 to?
I think it starts at the top. It starts with our owner, Adam Gilchrist, bringing the right people on board. We've got Mike Sheehan, general manager, he's doing a great job on corporate side of things, and getting us some exposure down here in Austin. And Mike Ablett, another team manager who's been here since the beginning. He's one of the only guys that has been here since the start, and he provides a lot of experience with the previous organization, because it's practically a brand new thing, bar Mike Ablett and a few of the players that have been around. And then I think the biggest thing is the coaching staff, with Mark Gerard and Sam Harris leading the charge, and then the couple player coaches that we have. We've really got the right people to get it done. We brought in Simon Thomas from the Crusaders as our head of, I don't know what his title is now, he does so much, but he's our head of performance, strength and conditioning coach. And then having big Wappa, Jamie McIntosh, and Isaac Ross here is pretty special. So we just got a great group, great leadership at the top, and we keep getting good guys down with me in the playing squad. So just getting the right people in the building was the biggest thing.
It seems like there's a whole different vibe than there was from 2 seasons ago, right? I mean, and you're right. I think that starts with leadership at the top, and the leadership is clearly much, much, much improved. And I've been so impressed with Sam Harris. I mean, what a tremendous job that he does and connects with the rugby community in a special way. Very impressive organization. And you can tell from the outset once the season was starting that it was going to be a different vibe down there. And it was really awesome to see. Certainly awesome to see you guys be super, super competitive this last season. If the limited 2020 and full 2021 season told us anything, it's that winning the Texas Cup is a point of pride. Dallas is being added to the mix in 2022, and Houston seems to have a new focus. So, Bryce, run, pass, or kick. Will the boys target those games with both Dallas and Houston with just a bit more focus and intensity this upcoming season?
I guess we'll find out. I think that's every game's gonna be very significant and require a lot of focus and intensity. But when you're playing for a bit of hardware, it does make it that much more special. And we want to be the rulers of Texas. So yeah, I think it will bring a little bit more out of us for those couple weeks.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Although I think I got to be honest, I think I'm going to out the big guy. I think he's picking Dallas in this new season to win the.
I got screwed
Cup,
by Dallas last season. No, Bryce, I picked Dallas on a Thursday, and the next Tuesday they're like, by the way, we're not playing in 2021. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, and now he's still going to pick him again. So boo. I'm behind the AGs, my brother. I'm behind the AGs. Don't forget who's backing you. All right, hey, we're gonna.
Sorry, I lost it there for a second, but I'm back. Sorry, I lost you guys there for a second, but I'm back.
No problem. We were talking amongst ourselves. Trust me.
Hey, somebody else who backs us is Tighthead Brewing Company. It is Chicago's premier location to watch rugby and enjoy quality ales and lagers for all seasons. Located in Mundelein, Illinois, in the heart of Lake County, owner Brewster and the Tighthead staff will ensure you are kept well hydrated so you don't miss a single scrum. Tighthead's tap room is like the familiar rugby clubhouse in which friends and teammates can enjoy, socialize, and consume a wide variety of brews on tap. Hey, Chicago, when you want rugby, Tighthead Brewing Company will satisfy your thirst. Tighthead, it's worth more than a try. So, Bryce, we're going to jump on over to the Quick Tap. So we were just talking about Tighthead and talking about beer. I'm going to start off with an easy one here. Might hit a little close to home since you make your new home down there in Austin. So, better beer, Hopzilla or Shinerbach?
Am I allowed to answer that one? I don't know if I'm allowed to answer that one. Are we sponsored by one of them?
Uh-oh. Rob might be getting in trouble.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Hopzilla.
Don't worry. Not a lot of
Good
people
choice.
watch this show, so I think you'll be fine.
All right.
Yeah, I'll stay with that one.
Okay. All I know is I've been down to Austin a couple times, and I always enjoyed a good Shiner. But that was before Hopzilla was even created. So shout out to Hopzilla. All right, scarier prop. Ready? Scarier prop. Larome's speed or Jamie McIntosh's size?
Larum speed.
It's just unnatural. It's just plain unnatural. We have to check his prop credentials.
That'll also get under Big Wap's skin. So,
like, what I want to see is somebody come out with the replays that has the speedometer on them or something like that, or a little flash behind it that turns like from yellow to red when he puts on the afterburners. I'd like to see that happen behind Romy, man. That guy, because that dude can motor. All right, off weekend out in Austin. Are you sporting cowboy boots or the cowboy hat?
both. Can I do that? I'll probably go boots.
Boots. Okay. Did you have a pair of boots coming from the Hoosier State?
I do have a pair of boots, but I got them when I was in Arizona, like right before I moved here. So I can't say that I had them in Indiana, okay, but I did acquire some before I got here.
So can you really call yourself a Hoosier then? I mean, seriously.
We're not all farm folk in Indiana.
Okay. You know? I know. I'm just busting your chops. All right.
Oh God.
All right. More Texas, pulled pork or brisket?
Easy.
Brisket.
Yeah. If he didn't say brisket, they might cut his contract. Jesus.
All right, here we go. Last one. And I designed this
I
one.
feel, by the way, I feel personally attacked in this question. By the way,
That was intentional with this question. It was certainly intentional. All right, more pressure. Is it on Jim Harbaugh for Michigan football or Mike Woodson from IU basketball?
Probably Mike Woodson.
I would say this particular week it's Jim Harbaugh. Michigan's undefeated going
Yep.
into East Lansing to play little brother. And if they don't complete and they don't go 8-0 and have that win against the Spartans, people will be screaming. But that's just my opinion. Hammer knows this. So,
Yeah, we need to get IU basketball going in the right direction.
Yeah, well, Michigan basketball is on the rise. Can't talk much about that. Juwan Howard has us rolling. Anyway, let's get back to some rugby. And speaking of rugby, one of our sponsors is Rugby Coffee. Our friends at Rugby Coffee make delicious coffee, make great tumblers. I mean, we have tumblers, we have coffee cups, we have delicious whole bean roasted coffee. Jouet Jouet is Rob's favorite.
Yep.
Darker roast, a little more bold. I like the crowd favorite, which is the North American blend. It hits me right in the morning. I literally drink it every morning. Me and Rob talk about our coffee a lot. And I although I do iced coffee, no matter what. It could be snowing 2 degrees in New York, still hitting the iced coffee, but it's always Rugby Coffee. And as you guys know, we've been saying it now for the past year. Rugby Coffee takes 10% of their earnings and they put it into youth rugby in Canada and the United States. So head over to Rugby Coffee to get some amazing coffee and help youth rugby at the same time, right? Because this show is about growing rugby one fan at a time, and Rugby Coffee is about growing rugby one player at a time. Rugby Coffee, it's a way of life. So I got the next question. This is an interesting question. Rob, I got to be honest, Rob picks some questions sometimes that until I read them, I never would have even thought that. And I think this is a great question. So in 2019, the Elite were lucky to sell 500 tickets. In 2020, the AGs developed a huge following, and Bold Stadium had this awesome game day strategy and energy. Run, pass, or kick. How important is this energy and growing the fan base to the team during the course of a game?
Run with that one. Anyone who's come, to a game at Bold Stadium this past season understands how much fun it was and the crazy energy. It was incredible, and that's what it's all about. That's what's going to grow this league is getting fans in seats and making the game days exciting. Obviously, the rugby is what most importance, but the fan experience as well is what we really did a good job of this season. And it just gives us so much energy on the field when we got people screaming and hollering and having a good time.
Absolutely.
And most of it comes from Noxie, doesn't it? Like the guy is so full of energy, it seems like he's going to pass out right on the side of the field just because of oxygen deprivation. Because he just doesn't.
He gets them going, man. He gets. I mean, I got to be honest.
Gets the people going.
One of the things the Rooster Boosters were talking about, we're waiting in bated breath for the schedule because if we have an away against the AGs this year, we were talking about making that one of our places to go for an away match, and there's a reason for it because you guys do have a great game day. What did Commissioner Killebrew call it? Rugby-tainment, right? And you guys definitely have it down there. So I'm can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be exciting this season as well because I think we'll be open up to have full capacity. So we'll see if we can't fill out the whole thing.
That'll be awesome. And you know what? Another thing, and we saw it this past weekend when you guys were playing the All Blacks, having a good curtain raiser. Tell me how you had Army Navy and they're tied going into the last couple minutes, and if you ask somebody in this country, Army Navy, you don't have to even say the sport. You say Army or Navy, they will give you an opinion on why they think Army or Navy is going to win. So having great curtain raisers in front of these MLR matches, whether it's local collegiate teams, local club teams, or in my opinion, I feel like that they should be partnering with the WPL and you should be having some great women's matches going around. So that's just my 2 cents.
And it is a big 2 cents, by the way. Hey, let's roll forward and transition from the AGs to the U.S. Eagles. Obviously, this last weekend, huge weekend. Scott talked about it. Curtain raiser, Army Navy. It flows right into, arguably probably one of the biggest matches that any USA player could encounter, and with the exception of maybe the Rugby World Cup, and that's playing New Zealand. You've earned over 37 caps for the Eagles. You've played against England, you played against Ireland, and now you had the opportunity to ruck up against New Zealand. Run, pass, or kick, how special was this most recent match in Washington, D.C. Against the All Blacks to you?
I'll run with this one. The occasion was very special. The build-up was incredible. We were looked after so well in DC, and all the people that put on the event, Left Field Live, Old Glory, what was it called? Just I think just sports events DC. I think
Yes,
that's what it was.
event-
But
yes,
they,
yes.
they just really nailed it with our preparation, with our facilities, making sure we were taken care of. But it's pretty darn cool to say you've played against the All Blacks. It's a shame that obviously the game went the way it did. I'm sure you guys will ask more questions about it, but there's a couple moments in the game that were really really good. Most of them weren't that way, but yeah, we'll just learn from it. It was a great occasion. Had a lot of friends there, family there. It's great for the sport in the States to have a stadium filled up like that, over 40,000 people, and it looked like everyone was having a good time. So for growing the game, it was really cool.
Yeah, and I do think. I'm sorry. Go, Rob.
No, I got to ask, Bryce. So I saw a lot of photos. I wasn't able to go to the game. My wife's birthday took precedence, but you know, a lot of jerseys were exchanged. I mean, did you exchange your jersey with an All Black player? I mean, or is that like something you want to hold on to because you know at the bottom of the jersey it's stitched that it's the All Blacks in Washington D.C.
Yeah, I traded. What is it?
Uh-oh.
Pick up here. Here it is. Yeah, Braden and Nora, his first cap. There it is.
Oh, that's
Really?
Yeah, he was actually. This isn't actually the one he wore. So they were lucky enough. He got two of them because it was his first cap. But yeah, so have one of those. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I keep some of my jerseys, but most of them I like to trade because it's just something you'll never get a chance to do again.
Exactly, and especially if you're getting a player that you respect and and you might not be playing against that player ever again. It's like that sometimes. So I was going to say the next question is kind of similar, but it's from a player's perspective, like as a rugby player, not the fanfare of the haka and the moment and being in the big stage, but like technically and on the sports side, what makes the All Blacks special from a player's perspective?
Yeah, I'll run with it. You guys saw it in the game, just the instinctiveness of everything they do. You see how well they support each other. They anticipate little line breaks, and they're always there and ready to support. It's just the accuracy. Every pass is pinpoint right in front. Guys are hitting on the ball at pace. It's just like it's like the perfect version of the game. Like it's how you want to play, and they're doing it. And it's incredible to see, and it's very frustrating to play against.
Oh, I bet. But hey, first time we scored tries against the All Blacks, and we scored 2 of them. So that's nothing to not wave your hat about, to be honest. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's kind of like you're watching the perfect tape of a rugby match happening in front of you, right? It's everything the coaches yell at you about when you make a mistake in practice, and they're doing it successfully and limiting those mistakes. I mean, that's how I felt watching it. I went, ooh, I could see this is where I would have made the mistake. You know what I mean? And I'm a terrible rugby player, so I can only imagine being on the field and at their level and seeing it unfold in front of you, how frustrating it be. I think frustration is probably the best word to describe it as an athlete on the field with them.
It was what amazed me is you hit the nail on the head there when you were talking about the amount of support they give one another. Like there were so many times as I'm watching and they had the overhead shot either from one of the end zones or try zones. They would show the ball carrier and there would be 5 guys around him ready to receive a pass. And it wasn't just once or twice. It was every time there was a break, there were guys there to support the runner, and all they did was take one look, boom, they make the pass. It's so instinctual. It was incredible to watch them play. So now I'm going to take us forward a little bit and kind of zoom out rather than just focus on the All Blacks game. I'm sure many people watched. I'm going to zoom out a bit. After a little bit of a COVID layoff, right? I think 16 months or something to that effect. You guys returned to international duty in July. Obviously, playing England, Ireland, picked up with the qualifiers, and then moved into the All Blacks. Taking all that into account from July to, Saturday, run, pass, or kick, how would you grade the Eagles after this return to international play? What kind of grade would you give them?
I'll run with this.
I expected a pass or a kick, but that's
yeah.
But a good man puts their hand up.
I'll let you guys answer it as well. But look, there's you can make so many excuses for how we performed, and regardless of the scores that we put out, we've got a really new group of guys, and we're building and we're learning, and we did a lot of good things, or we definitely did a lot of good against England. Second half was incredible. We fought like hell, and we ended up only losing by 14 points. And after looking at that game, it was a game that we could have actually won. We learned that it's tough to go against Tier 1 nation 2 weeks in a row, with the game against Ireland. And then when we got into Canada, some travel and other issues led to a pretty not so good performance up in Canada, and then we bounced right back and really got it done the next week in Glendale. Uruguay first round, we feel we should have won that game by 30, and that's what did it for us. We should have had that series closed out in Glendale, really, and we gave ourselves too much to chew off at the end when we went down to Uruguay. And then this last week was hopefully it was going to be more of a celebration after we qualified, but we didn't get it done. So take all that in, I'd probably give us maybe a C-. We have done some good things. We built some combinations. We've got new guys in the mix, and we've played some good rugby at moments. And we work really freaking hard. So that's of utmost importance. But we got a lot of things wrong as well. So we're going to come back stronger. The one thing is we're going to learn from this year. So many lessons. And yeah, it's just going to make us stronger.
It's funny you say that you're going to learn from these lessons, because we have a really good fan question. I'm going to put it up here. Andre Fritz. After every defeat, coach says we learn from it and move on. What was the main thing the Eagles took from this game to build on?
Is that this game, like
the past All Blacks game? Yeah, the game against the All Blacks.
It's tough because we haven't really dissected it yet.
Okay. That's a honest answer. You haven't run the. You just happened. You guys. Then Sundays Sundays fresh. Are travel day, or Mondays are travel day. So I'm sure you guys didn't break it down yet, right? But I mean, if in my opinion, it would just be things like just tackling awareness. The basics. We kind of dropped on some of the basics, and that's on every player. That wasn't on any player specifically. That's just something I noticed. Back to basics for tackling, and maybe. There's a little bit of awe in the, All Blacks and the whole 9 yards, and you kind of shake that after the first couple minutes. I think the biggest thing was just getting back to basics and tackling. That from a fan perspective.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's just, don't make the moment more than it is still a rugby game, and you still got to just do your job. I think not just tackling, but tackling and covering up the ball. Try to keep them from offloading. Just our connection in defense has got to get a lot better, especially if you're playing against a team like that. Whether you're gonna go hard and shut it down, or if you need to shape off to the edge, just that connection on either or to try to solve problems together as opposed to as individuals in defense.
And before Rob gets to the last question, we're just going to remind Bryce after this question Rob's going to give you. We're going to give you the floor. You could talk about some shout outs you want to give, anything you want, organizations that are near to your heart. So start thinking about it. And also before Rob gives this question, we will be talking about the All Blacks USA match on this upcoming episode of the Rugby Rant. That'll be on TRN on Friday and going live the Friday morning and going live through our Facebook on Thursday night. So if you want more opinions about the All Blacks match, you want to see what me and Hammer have to say, come check us out on Thursday.
Yeah, so I'm going to deliver the last question, Bryce. And again, we thank you so much for joining us. I know it's really tough to do. I'm sure you're battered and bruised and would like nothing better than to sit in a good, nice, ice bath at this point. But or maybe you've already done that. You'd just rather sit in a hot tub. I don't know. But we appreciate you sharing some time with us. It's really, I think it's important to the fans to hear from the captain, and we love the fact that you're willing to do so. It shows what kind of stand-up guy you are to be willing to do that after such a tough match. So run, pass, or kick with this last one. The Eagles have a big job ahead of them in 2022 in order to qualify for the Rugby World Cup 2023. So run, pass, or kick. What are 3 keys to successful qualification against Chile?
I might as well. I'll kick this one. What do you guys think?
Oh, I think we have to get back to our roots as far as some of the gameplay. So, for example, like in this All Blacks match, right, we had a 2, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7 that all played together in the MLR in a pack that did rolling mauls, and that's something the Eagles do because these guys are on the team, right? So I think we need to get back to that and trust into that rolling maul. And what it does is it's like an old football adage, right, Bryce? You got to keep them honest, right? So you do what you do well until they stop it, and then when they stop it, you run that fake to Hanko where they fake Dylan inside, and he does a pop pass to Hanko, and you get one of those things where Hanko goes down the sideline for a try, which we all know and love. So that's one of the things I think that we have to keep teams honest. We know what we do well. We should continue to do that no matter who the opponent is, and then we can keep them honest that way. And it's kind of like stop us, do it until you stop us, and then figure out the adjustment you need to make after that. That's probably my biggest key. Rob?
Well, yeah, one of the things that I like, people came away, I think fans came away from the All Blacks match and were kind of like, oh boy. But the fact that we scored 2 tries and the fact that we played fastball out of the ruck when we had possession. I love the fact that we went for it, right? I love the fact that we played, when we had an opportunity, we played attacking rugby. And we do it well, and I think we'll do it very well against teams that are in our tier, right, that we can play against. And Chile's obviously one of those teams that we should play very well against. So let's play with the ball, right? I think that's what fans want to see, at least from my perspective, is, Nate was getting that ball out quick. He was distributing it. Get ready to go. He found opportunities to pick and take it up, in the channels, in the tight channels. I loved seeing that. I thought it was a lot of fun and entertaining. And we know, obviously, the center combinations are there. We have a Laupete. Is he a young talent, right? And it's great to see the two of you guys play off one another. I'd like to see that combination just start hitting some soft shoulders and finding those angles and really running at pace, in 2022 against Chile.
Cool. I'll do one more key for you guys so that we've all rounded it off. Just massively our physicality and defense. It's been there at times, and at times we haven't gotten that right. And it's something that we train really well, and for whatever reason, especially like in our game against Uruguay, we just right. And you can tell that when we're at our best in defense, we're a force to be reckoned with. And that's what we got to bring down to the qualifiers against Chile.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously Rob knows I'm going to stick with talking about forwards because that's what I do. Sorry, Bryce. But I think it starts with your 1 and your 3 kind of being nasty in the breakdown. I think the whoever's at 1 and 3, not just if it's Mullen or Dino or something like that. Anybody who's wearing the 1 or 3 has to be nasty in that breakdown and get a little testy, ride that line. Because sometimes when you're that physical, it kind of just freezes guys, especially the first 10 minutes of a match. So I think if we could do that and handle our stuff, I think we'll get this win against Chile. So Bryce, the floor is yours for your shout out.
Yeah. So November's coming up, and one thing I'm going to do again this year is Movember, raising awareness for testicular cancer and men's health, and yeah, it's something that's just really special, and they've got a really really cool organization, and they really do it right. I'll give a shout out to my alma mater, Indiana University, and the IU men's rugby team. They're having a pretty good fall season, and all the best for the rest of it, and winning another Big Ten title. And then might as well do one more alma mater, Cathedral Fighting Irish, and the Royal Irish rugby team. Near and dear to my heart, and just hope all the best.
Yeah,
awesome.
We love to hear about high school rugby. Especially I do, because ultimately, when you come down to, if we can get more and more kids playing, we can really elevate the game in the United States, and hopefully one day put pressure on the All Blacks. So thanks for the shout out, Bryce. It really means a lot, I'm sure, to all those organizations. And IU's having a great year. Will Chevy coached him when he was a little guy, and he was good then, and he's tremendous now too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and don't forget to give us our link, your link for Movember, so we could throw it on our Facebook groups and stuff like that. So that way you guys can donate and help Bryce reach his goal for Movember, and help testicular cancer, men with testicular cancer. And again, we love to hear it. It seems as though every person we have on the show has a charitable organization near and dear to their heart, and it's not one of those things where they have to think about it. It's like, boom, I know who I want to shout out to because this is important to me, and you'll love to see it. Bryce, again, thank you so much for being on. It was a pleasure having you, and again, thank you so much for coming on right after an international test match. It's like like Rob said, I can only imagine between traveling to the East Coast, playing against the All Blacks, traveling back to Austin, and then being like, oh, I got to deal with a guy's named the Big Guy in the Hammer on a friggin' Monday night. What the hell was I thinking? Why did I say yes to this? But Bryce, thank you so much for being on the show.
No, you guys make it so much fun. Thanks for having me.
It was amazing. And fans, you can catch us every Monday night with an RPK. I believe next week, one of your teammates, Christian Dyer, is coming on the show. And every Thursday night is our Rant episodes. And like I said, one of the topics on this week's episode, we're going to break down USA versus the All Blacks. We have Alex Carlson and Mikey, the Grand Poobah Parazzini, coming on. And if you guys remember Mikey from the previous episodes, he has an opinion about everything. Typical New Yorker. I love my buddy Mikey. I'm the big guy, Scott Farrar. That's Rob the Hammer Schmidt for Bryce Campbell and our buddy Ty, who could not be here tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you at the next.